Hey guys, so you'll want to stick around for this one. So we are on our first trip of 2025. So we are chasing the warm weather.
85 degrees or more.
Stick around to find out where we're headed.
Welcome to Take My Adventures. I'm Christian. This is Mike. This week we're going to take time to explore Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
That's right. Our goal this week is to inspire you, regardless of your age, to get out and travel.
On Sunday, we started with a trek to one of the oldest rainforests in the world. And for you science people, you heard me right. One of the oldest rainforests in the world, Teman Negara. It was magical being surrounded by nature, right, Mike?
That's right. Just hearing the sounds of nature makes you realize that there's adventure out there and it's just waiting for us. First day in Kuala Lumpur and we're headed out to Teman Negara Rainforest.
One of the oldest rainforests in the world. We're excited.
Not gonna let the sun beat us up this morning, so we're out early. We got to meet up at 5:30 in the morning. Welcome to Teman Negara Rainforest, Malaysia's incredible natural ecosystem. Teman Negara is one of the world's oldest tropical rainforests, dating back over 130 million years. Here you can embark on thrilling adventures, walk along hanging canopy bridges that offer a bird's eye view of the forest, but we have to get across the river first and register for our trek. There is a small fee for the hike and to get a camera permit. To hike the Teman Negara, a guide is required, but it's absolutely worth the money. Our guide was extremely knowledgeable on the various trees and plants. He showed us the elephant trails and described how some of the plants can be used for survival purposes. Then there was the rapid shooting. I can only describe it as getting in a 3-foot wide canoe with a 50 horsepower motor attached to it and shooting through white-capped waters. It was quite the adventure, and needless to say, we got soaked. But the adventure was absolutely worth every terrifying moment to meet and experience the Batek settlement and be introduced to their culture and way of life. We met the settlement chief, learned to make fire the way they do it. They showed us how to make darts for the blowgun and the poisons that they use to paralyze the animals they hunt. Then we got to experience shooting the blowgun, and afterwards, we had a great discussion and had our questions answered about everything from birth to death of the Batek people. The Batek are only one of hundreds of indigenous people in Malaysia, but this experience was one of the many highlights of our trip.
On Monday, we visited Batu Caves, a bucket list item for us. Those vibrant steps, amazing views, beautiful Hindu temples. It was worth taking 270 steps to the top.
That's right. Even though I enjoyed the Batu Caves, I also enjoyed the tour with the hot springs, the pewter factory, and the tapestry factory, which were all phenomenal, if nothing else, just for the learning experience of how they produce those products. The hot springs was a cultural experience, being able to understand how the locals actually cleanse themselves and then actually being able to enjoy the hot springs. That water was absolutely flaming.
Boiling hot.
It was boiling hot. But just remember, it's not how fast you go, it's that you're enjoying the journey along the way.
And that's what we have done in between taking the tours. We went to the helipad bar, which is up way in the sky. We went to the Canopy Lounge and we found some street food and we had just ventured into the city, which has been amazing.
Yeah, the helipad, if you think of being even with Tower 118 and the KL Tower, and then being able to see the Twin Towers at the same time, absolutely phenomenal.
Other things we have enjoyed this week is while we were visiting the rainforest, we were able to go and visit an indigenous tribe, the Batek people, Batek tribe. There are only like 900 of them existing at this moment. So just to learn how they survive and how they use the rainforest to continue living, it has been amazing.
Yeah, and I think the big thing to take away is that even though the NGOs and they live so close to modern civilization that they haven't taken on the influences of modern society, even though they see tourists passing through their community on a regular basis, they haven't taken on enjoying the amenities of society.
And how the people around them protects that. Because even though the Malaysian government, or like you said, the NGOs have tried to help them, the people around them know they cherish, I guess, the importance of how they live, and they want to protect them.
Yeah. And some of the other things that we've done is just enjoying the culture itself. The hot springs was a big one for me, being able to see how people, especially the older generations, cleanse themselves and try to gain some of their mobility back through other than medicinal means. The guide on the tour walked us through was a different, how you take medicinal purposes from the plants in the environment. And that's probably because of his experience of actually hiking within the Teman Negara Rainforest.
And how, and again, this is a personal view for a really short amount of time that we have been here, but how people are able to coexist, we don't know that much to the extent of how they coexist, but how they coexist, because the Malay people have the Islam religion. There's a big population of Hindu people and Chinese, which they have Buddhism, and how three completely different cultures coexist in this country. Also, what I have enjoyed is that I was expecting Malaysia to be a huge, well, Kuala Lumpur to be a huge city where we would have to continually be taking a Grab or a train or a subway. And we've been able to walk almost, well, everywhere except the airport.
Yeah, coming back from the airport, we had to take a Grab, but for the most part, especially where our accommodations are at, has been very walkable, and we're right beside the Twin Towers, so we walk right outside of our accommodations, and we are looking up at the Twin Towers. And to be in such a convenient area, the price of the apartment that we're staying in is very affordable. All right, guys, so we are super excited about the room that we got in Kuala Lumpur. $85 a night. You got to check it out. Let's go. So over here on the right, you've got a large kitchen. It's all inclusive. It got all the dishes. It's got glasses. It's got wine glasses. It's got a water filter. And then as you pan around, you've got a nice large dining room here, sitting room with a TV. And as we come into the bedroom, we've got a queen size bed, desk. And then as we pan over to the bathroom, large bathroom here with a sink, toilet, and then it has a shower included in it. So guys, for $85 a night, this is absolutely amazing deal. And the rooftop infinity pool looking directly at the Petronas Towers made it even better.
Yes, so if you're looking to come to Kuala Lumpur, city center is the area where you want to start looking, and there's plenty to choose from depending on your budget, but that's going to allow you to walk to almost any site within the city that you need to go.
Yeah, and also where we're located is very close to just a ton of different restaurants. We've got everything from an Irish pub that we walked past last night to just American restaurants and any type of food that you want, whether it be Chinese, Indian. It's just all very close.
I even saw a tapas restaurant, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the other thing that surprised me about here is the number of different languages you hear. Obviously you hear Southeast Asia languages, but also the other variety of languages, everything from the English accents, which is a different language for us, but you also hear Spanish and other European languages that you really wouldn't expect to hear. One of our tour guides yesterday was telling us about the number of Chinese people, and I think he alluded to it but didn't really say it, but just the number of different types of nationalities that want to come here to actually live on a permanent basis.
Yeah, and it kind of surprised us too. But it seems like, of course, he's a tour guide and he's selling his country to be the most beautiful country. But it seems like he was telling us that most Malay people are happy people, which we have seen it. And that kind of entices people from China or India, Vietnam, Cambodia to try to come here because of that.
Yeah, and it's no surprise that the Malay people are some of the happiest in the world, and we've truly gotten to experience that through just getting out and seeing the people and enjoying the culture. They are truly, I think, some of the happiest people that I've ever encountered, and we've encountered a lot of different cultures, and the Malay people by far have taken it to the next level. We're in Independence Square where the Malaysians do their regular Independence Day celebration. So back behind us is the flagpole, which the British flag was taken down from, and the Malaysian flag was hoisted in 1957. Also, there's a mosque nearby that we're getting ready to go visit. But this is a really nice area to come and relax and just spend a little bit of extra time. You got some government buildings nearby, and also you got the Merdeka 118 that can be visited from here as well. So let's go.
Let's go. One of the beauties of being in Malaysia is that you can experience so many religions. You can go to a Hindu temple, you can go to a Buddhist temple, and in this case, my first time in a mosque. So this is quite an experience.
Okay, so as we were walking along, we did see this awesome view of the mosque. So this is a mosque we just visited. This is the first time that Christian and I have been in a mosque. So this was a great experience just to be able to see it. Obviously, the Islamic are very passionate about their religion, as is all religions around the world, and they're very open to tell you about their religion.
It was a great experience, and being able to stop and talk to someone. And for all of you that are inquiring, it's free entrance, and they'll provide any coverage that you may need in case you're dressed the wrong way, so you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Guys, if you come in shorts, you've got to put on a covering to go down to at least your knees. I just brought an extra pair of joggers that I put on. Christian has on just a short sleeve shirt, and capri pants.
And they asked me to put a full coverage, like all the way to my ankles and cover my head, which it's free. So
interesting experience. So now we're going to continue to wander. Okay, so we visited the River of Life, the mosque, and Independence Square, and Kuala Lumpur Tower. So at this point, now we're just wandering.
Just exploring. After Independence Square, the mosque, and the River of Life, we walked to Little India. It was hot that day, so I think it seemed like it was longer, but it was about 1.8 kilometers, I think. I will pick another place to go. I mean, it was nice to see it, but there was nothing fantastic about Little India. Yeah, there's restaurants, there's shops, but there's not like a street market or things to do per se in that area.
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed by Little India. It was one street, and even though there was, I mean, the colors were absolutely something to be enjoyed by all the senses, but it just wasn't much.
No.
However, I will say that we went to an Indian restaurant there, and that Indian restaurant, and we'll put the link down below of the actual name of the restaurant, but it was probably one of the best Indian restaurants that I've ever been to.
And there was no plates, it was just the banana leaf, a tray and the banana leaf, and then they bring you your food and you put it there, you mix it and you eat it from the banana leaf, which I thought that was pretty cool.
As we strolled through the shopping malls, we marveled at the stunning Chinese New Year decorations. Red lanterns sway above, golden dragons dance, and vibrant flowers bloom, setting the perfect festive mood. Then we headed to Syria KLCC, where the grand dancing water fountains await. We watched in awe as the water dances gracefully to the enchanting music, creating a mesmerizing display against the stunning backdrop of the Petronas Towers. Afterwards, we tried the world of durian, the king of fruits. With its spiky shell and intense aroma, durian is both beloved and controversial. Known for its pungent smell, it's notorious for being banned in hotels and public transportation. Alright, so this is our first time trying durian, so... No, I'm glad we got a small piece. That's horrible.
No, it's a no for me.
On Wednesday, we went to the KL Tower. We walked from the Petronas Towers area, and it was about what, 2 kilometers? What do you think?
Yeah, it was about 2 kilometers.
And the cost was about $50 for both. And if I had to say again, I think it's worth going to the Petronas Towers than the KL Tower. The KL Tower is you just go up 421 meters or to where the observation deck is, and you see around Kuala Lumpur, but that's it. Nobody talks to you, nobody gives you any information. Compared to Thursday that we went to the Petronas Towers. And it's just a completely different experience. They have 10,000 employees within the Petronas Towers, and they only accept 1,400 visitors per day. So they really try to give you top of the line customer service by talking to you, answering your questions. And you go to 3 different places. You go to the Sky Bridge, the observation deck, and another area.
Yeah, and then the other area is really the gift shop, but it could be considered another observation deck that's lower than the Sky Bridge, but higher than the ground level.
I think if I had to choose, I would choose Petronas Towers.
Yeah, definitely. If you're on a budget, choose to go to Petronas Towers over KL Towers. Again, the experience was just much more fulfilling. The guides, they didn't have any guides at KL Tower, so you can't really compare the guides, but the personnel at the Petronas Towers, you can tell that they're very knowledgeable, that there's an onboarding that they have to go through to be educated about the towers. And then I think the other thing is just because of the number of people that's going through, that they were much more efficient with getting the personnel through. I was never rushed. We had 15 minutes at the observation deck at the top, which is the highest level that tourists can go to, and then the only thing above it is a mechanical area, and that's the highest point that's accessible to people. But again, the experience was much more fulfilling. The guides were amazing. Every one of them that we talked to was very knowledgeable and willing to answer questions. Right now we're on our way to tour Petronas Towers, so this has kind of been somewhat of a bucket list item for us, but we've walked past the towers every day since we got here. So when we finally decided that we would tour it, even though it's a little pricey, it'll still be something that'll be a pretty cool shot for everyone to see. So that's the reason we're doing it. We're doing this for you guys. The entrance to the towers is absolutely stunning. The cost of the Petronas Tower tour is $22 per person, and the tour length is about an hour long.
We are up 170 meters.
I hate heights, and this trip has been a struggle because everything is high. But it's pretty awesome to be in multiple buildings that ranked as some of the tallest in the world. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the views are amazing. And you'll see later some of the views from here. They have a park right behind us. It's a patch of greenery in a concrete jungle, and it's ranked as one of the most pretty top 10 parks in the world. Also, this is just a personal opinion. If you are on a budget and you have to decide between the KL Tower and the Petronas Towers, I would pick the Petronas Towers in a heartbeat. We chose to do both just to show you guys, the two possibilities. Once 118 is open, that would be something else to consider. But for right now, Petronas Towers for a win.
Yeah, absolutely. The experience was just much more informative, and the people were very good about answering our questions, and the amount of time that you get to spend there was a lot more as well.
Yeah.
And then there was Chinatown, and Chinatown for me was probably one of my most favorite areas that we visited. We took a grab from the town center area to Chinatown, and I was really excited because of just all the different markets, the street vendors that were there. That was just really exciting. And then we went to the Hindu temple on the outskirts of Chinatown, and then we also visited a Buddhist temple that was there, which that was intriguing. We did have some cocktails at the Junk Cafe, which was the sangria and the old fashions there were amazing. Probably some of the best that we've gotten in Asia. And then also there's a bakery that's there. They only do cookies, and if you see this place, you have to have the red velvet cheesecake cookies. Amazing.
And Chinatown, it's really vibrant. It has the pedaling street, which you have a lot of vendors selling you all kinds of merchandise, from knockoffs, from purses, shoes, Apple products like headphones. But it's just, like I said, it's vibrant. And then you had the pedaling street art, which was fantastic within itself. You have all these murals around different streets and places where you can take pictures. And as Mike mentioned, it was kind of nice to go in one day from a Hindu temple to a Buddhist temple to the National Mosque and compare all three of them, and to realize that this country relies heavily on all three religions.
Yeah, and again, I think we've already talked about it a little bit previously, but just the amount of tolerance that's here, again, you have 3 different types of religions, you have many different nationalities living here, and at least from our perspective, they all seem like they tolerate or coexist together in somewhat of a harmonious relationship. The National Mosque was really nice too, and again, people are very passionate about their religions. Muslims are no exception to that, and they were really well versed and well educated and wanted to talk about their religion.
And the good thing about going to Chinatown, the Hindu temple, you had to pay like 7 cents of a dollar for them to store your shoes. The Buddhist temple and the mosque, all those are free. Pedaling street art is free. Unless you want to eat or drink something, you will not be spending any money in those places.
Yeah, just a word of caution. The National Mosque is closed between 12:30 and 3:30 for prayer. So don't go between those times, and try to find something to do. I would recommend taking the train to the Central Station, and then you can just walk right across the road to the National Mosque. Okay, so let's discuss our pros and cons of visiting Kuala Lumpur. So number one is safety, and we have walked around at night. We've walked around during the day. We've been to some of the main tourist locations, and I never felt like I was in danger of having pickpockets or having our bag stolen or anything like that. So safety, I absolutely give a thumbs up to. Transportation, for us, the places that we've been, and we've been everywhere from city center to Chinatown to Little India, and we've either walked, which is another criteria, or taken a grab. So highly recommend taking a grab. The grabs are very affordable. Matter of fact, I don't think we've paid over $5 for any of the grabs that we've taken, and we've gone up to, I would say, 6 or 7 kilometers.
And it's the same idea as Uber in the States. You call the Grab and they pick you up. You put the location where you want them to drop you off, and you pay by credit card. So it's super easy to use.
Yeah. So in my book, transportation gets a thumbs up.
The next is walkability. It's so easy to walk here. There hasn't been a place where we say, oh, we shouldn't be walking for safety, or we shouldn't be walking because there's not a sidewalk. Everywhere you go, there's a sidewalk. Everywhere you go, you still have to be alert because there's a lot of traffic, but not that they're consciously trying to run a red light. Just sometimes things happen. So you just have to be careful about the traffic, but otherwise you can walk anywhere around this city.
Yeah, just be aware that there is construction going on, so sometimes the sidewalk ends and you kind of have to get on the street for a little bit. But other than that, oh, and the mopeds. You've got to watch out for the mopeds. They're going to use the sidewalks, they're going to use the bicycle lanes. Those guys are just all over the place, so be aware of the mopeds. But yeah, like Christian said, walkability, I give a thumbs up. And then the other criteria is being able to communicate. Now, shame on us, we don't speak the language, but other than maybe thank you and you're welcome, but for communication, most everyone speaks some level of English here. So I would say for communications, that's a thumbs up for me.
And then a few things, mostly for females, as a side note. Bathrooms, every bathroom I encountered so far had been clean. I hadn't had any issues. The only issue you may encounter is that there's no your typical regular toilet. They have the squat toilets, but usually they do in most places have your American or regular toilet. But the toilet paper, it's outside by the sink. So before you enter, please grab the toilet paper because there won't be any toilet paper inside.
All right, and then for the guys, the toilets are mostly either urinals or American toilets. So no issues for the guys with the toilets.
Today we had extra time, so we decided to check out the aquarium just to see if it was worth, especially some of you traveling with kids. I would say if it's raining and your kids really want to love visiting aquariums, I will go. But for $33 that we pay for both of us, it's super small. I wouldn't say it's worth going. There's other places that if it's raining that you can visit.
Yeah, I did think that the aquarium was well put together. It had a large assortment of different fish. I mean, you get to see the great white shark, you get to see a sea turtle, numerous different types of fish. Also got a couple of aquariums that have otters in it. You see some extremely large catfish. They've got a small assortment of reptiles, no snakes.
No.
But for the most part, it is a very well put together. One of the most impressive things was the length of the tunnel that you get to walk through. I would say it's probably a good maybe 100 meters if you straightened it out. So that was interesting to see. But yeah, definitely not worth the $33 that we paid.
And with that being said, use the surroundings that you see around us where we've been taking the videos. This is KLL Park, and it's right behind the Petronas Towers, and it's a well put together park in the middle of an urban area. So if you have kids and they're full of energy, you have like, first you have different sites where they can run around, and they have a playground, and as far as I know, they have like a watering pool that the kids can enjoy. So there's other places within Kuala Lumpur that it's for free that your kids can enjoy the day.
Yeah, and just a correction, it's KLCC
Ah.
Park. And yes, there is a fountain that the kids can play in, and that would probably be a highlight and one of those things that you'd want to do if it's raining when you're here, or just something to do for the kids after running them around to different areas.